Hey, playing in a world event is still playing in a world event. As Flash starting on offense. Jigger's got it, he's looking deep. Oh, it's Shrek, excuse me. Shrek hangs this one up. Player's getting underneath it. Scott tries to get it on the sideline. Did he keep that in? He did. And now Scott with a low release break, continuation into the end zone. Finds the receiver there, just trying to get a spy of the number on the back of the shirt for the first goal of the game. What a rescue play that was by Scott, because that looked like it was going to tail out of bounds. I thought the defender had position, but Scott did not let it go, and full credit to him for that.
Finland's defense looking a bit stunned. I think that save happened, and then that the goal happened so quickly afterwards. But I've known Jim Scott for a few years now. He is a very determined man, and if he sees a disc that he thinks that he can catch, he is going to give 110%.
Very important skill. It's a really underrated skill, that. First ball of the game for Flash is fielded by Vasquio. Playing a little bit of give-go in the handler set. Getting things set downfield, and as soon as he released it, he knew that it wasn't there. Scotland with the hand block, maybe one of the easier hand blocks he will get. And the high release lefty backhand from Jigger just bounces off the fingertips of Edwards. That is agonising, because just that little bit of cheeky creativity nearly paid off.
Finland have another chance.
Low throw. Histbacker got underneath it, kept it alive. Lovely lead throw back to Vasquio. Vasquio's looking deep. There's no force on. Scotland eventually gets set. Going underneath, huge bid from Hode. Comes up short. And now here's Ristaniemi. Back to Histbacker. Histbacker fixes the high release. And then maybe gets a little bit of a bump on the mark. I think the adjective we usually use for players is diminutive.
Yes. Yes.
But count her out at your peril. Faking the low release there. Has that low centre of gravity, so can really do damage with those low releases. We see it there.
God, so fast.
Finds Vasquio, and hey, you called it. That speed on the ground. Sometimes, just can really power through the sand
on this surface.
And you've got the low centre of gravity, the short, sharp changes of direction that are so devastating on sand. There's the low release break, and just catches Edwards on the heels a little bit, and then uses that to burn up line. Pace and space for days for a one. Early returns on this contest. Looks like another cracker here.
So excited.
Right, we had a phenomenal game last up between Young Legends and Borderline, and looks like these two sides looking to keep a good thing going here. As Scott fakes the swing, he's got Hode on this near side, looks underneath. There was potential for a handball, and Baker just slips and it bounces off the chest. That one's got to be painful, metaphorically rather than literally perhaps, because it did not have a huge venom. And Manninen puts the throw to space where it is reeled in for the goal. I think that's Vitari for the Finns, and that's the first break of the game. It goes Team Finland's way for 2-1.
That's a shame, because it was a really nice kind of shot through the middle, and Baker even going to his knees to try and get a better handle on it, but just bounced off, and Finland able to capitalise. Looks like they set up a kind of good end zone play and able to execute.
And here is Manninen with that backwards 4 on the back of the jersey. Certainly it's a number that I haven't seen before. So it's
Jim. And wrapping her business at the same time with her official YouTube channel.
Hey, get sneaky plug in. I think we'll let you off. That's a very good pull, and it's going to be fielded eventually after the roll by Unwin. Pointing, trying to remonstrate, sending players away to wind up for the Huck. The Huck goes. Will it stay in bounds? I don't think it's got the edge on it, and it tails over. Chips on camera too. Out of bounds. Turnover for the 5th Crescent, securing these beautiful surroundings. Hits the swing into the centre. Finds a teammate. Shuranta. Task sometimes.
All the extra admin that travelling at these times can bring.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. You're bang on. Unwin's not really seeing something he likes, so he just lasers an inside flick through to Hode, and he's not seeing a huge amount of players free either. Still count rising. Unwin desperately trying to get free deep and stop.
Maximum 6.
9, just about gets it off, floats this one up. This is dangerous, but Scotland brings it down with authority. And now Scotland winds up for a deep put of his own, and that one might end up in the Mediterranean.
Nearly hit someone's stuff.
And Flash go out of the sideline, so with the wind picking up a little bit, you can see it kind of whipping those Eurodisc flags in the background as the pink Eurodisc is checked in by Arimo. He goes back to Hestbacher. And Arimo wants to jack it deep. Scotland's all over it though. Now and underneath, and again, just a miscommunication. Arimo was right on the spot, didn't even have to move. Here's Hestbacher, finding Arimo. Pivoting around, the wind it's definitely whipping up a little bit more now. You can see that throw rising. As Vitari with a low throw, kept alive once more by Daniemi.
Scooped up off the ground. Well, not off the ground, but from near the ground.
Just above the ground. I think everyone knows what. And there we go. Tasty inside flick through the channel. Finds the receiver. It's another break for Team Finland. Now 3-1 is the score.
Absolutely laser that towards Arimo. Just, I think because there have been a lot of bids on these throws which are maybe, you know, not quite behind, but also definitely not in front of the receivers. So taking no chances and just jamming it in.
There is something to be said. I appreciate that teams would like to be patient around the end zone, but sometimes these windows are not very big. When the opportunity presents itself, you've just got to try and squeeze it in there.
It almost looked like there was a bit of...
And the backhand is a blading pull from Timo Vaskio.
Oh, that's going to be difficult to get out of.
Pilling has been good from Team Finland, and it's consistently hit the Brits deep. For the Brits is a Canadian, Steve Jagay. He finds Scott underneath. Looks for Shrek. Shrek begins to clear out. Jagger comes through from the far side from the handless base. Jagger Jackson got a receiver right on the money. This time Baker makes amends. Set himself well, stealed it for the catch. Flash back on the board at 2-3.
Absolutely visionary throw. He thought about ripping the backhand huck, but sorry, the flick side huck even. He's right-handed. But then saw where the defender was and pivoted around to make sure that the defender would just not have a chance. So we see here, thinks about the flick, but no, roll curve backhand, much better. We
talked before about Sharanta's dump defense, and that time Manninen wasn't able to do it because he overcommitted to stop that open side look.
I've got a comment in the chat about how Flash clearly did not win the toss for colour, as we're seeing a lot of people not wearing Flash kit.
Yeah, it's an interesting. There are a lot of teams wearing grey because of the connotations. Here's a disc on the near side for Vetari. Gets Shrek on the floor on the block.
I think there's a call up field. A push off, I think, was being signalled.
I'd like to see those arms down for the foul. Danny Baker on the mark. Nice loud check in there so his teammates know what's going on. Downfield finds Shodanta. Lefty with a little bit of a high release. Daniemi. Into Arimo. Going back towards the open side. When they get the brakes off, they don't necessarily have that continuation. Defender on the floor. Now the continuation comes, and then they continue it to the break side. Mark's committing, and the Mark doesn't have to stop it. Little inside shot, maybe, no. Has to go outside. Just about gets Arimo, and then the up-the-line cut comes. They cannot stop Vitari from powering his way into the end zone. It is 4-2.
Yeah, that was an incredible turn of speed. Really impressive acceleration, especially for beach. You know, sometimes once you get up to top speed, you can move relatively quickly, but it's the getting up there that takes a few seconds. So we'll see it here. But also excellent defense, end zone defense from Flash here. Several options are completely marked out.
A very active force that does a good job at dissuading some of those, and well, in the end, maybe too active because it's overcommitting, and that allows Vitari the space to come through up line. It's a proper thrower's surface, I think, because you have to get that level of touch on the discs, especially because often you are playing in very windy conditions like we have today.
Could be worse though. It was a lot worse earlier.
I mean, yeah, and you know, you're on the beach in Sardinia, even if the weather is a bit less than ideal. As it's a drop, just thought Edwards might get it on the second attempt.
That's the second time that a kind of lasery disc from Scott has been dropped in pretty much the same position.
So Vaskio is the coach of this side, picks up, going for the inside break. Well, Hastbacker is a goal scorer. That's her second of the game. That is now 5-2, I believe. Just waiting for the scoreboard to catch up a little bit.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So really good job for Team Finland to isolate Hestbacker at the front of the stack there. She just had so much space to cut into, and with her turn of speed, you can hit her open or break. Going to be a relatively easy score. Yeah, we'll just see it here.
I think if you're being a little bit critical of Hogue, but you know, you begin to maybe think about what your evening plans are, perhaps.
Just to answer a question in the YouTube chat, this is open, so there are no rules for how many of one gender you need on the line.
So the pool goes very deep. Shrek eventually fields it. Jiguer with a high one, too high for everyone. It's going to be a turnover pretty much on the halfway line. Disc is checked in on the floor, not that it needed to be by Arimo. One of my pet peeves. Is Ristiniemi.
Bit of a poach on the dump there from Baker.
Yeah, I think they don't mind them going back, because if they can just stop that movement downfield. It's a player in stride. It's Arimo running through from the handler space. Underneath, here's Sharanta. Looking at the end zone. Player comes up line, and it is squeezed on the line past the hands of Ruben Shrek into the end zone. The lead extends for Finland. It's now 6-2. They have come out like a house on fire.
They're really, their setup seems very disciplined, and I think because around 90% of these players are from Helsinki, and I think they do train together, maybe not regularly, but every, I don't know, I'm not going to make things up, but they are all from the same area, so there are some connections and maybe able to...
And then maybe just about every other point, perhaps for Pirjo Heistbacker. You will have noticed that there are two Heistbackers on this team. Michael and Pirjo.
They met playing Frisbee.
Isn't that sweet? Whoa, what a beat. Very nearly got there from Vasquio. And maybe got a little bit of sun on the way through.
Vasquio apologising immediately, which is nice spirit, but oh, a contested foul?
I think he's just asking what was going on, and I think he's going to take it. That is not the call for injury.
No.
That is the hands on top of the head, isn't it? Unless they changed it.
They have changed it. It's now interlocked fists, I think.
Oh, the one that used to be the 4 women signal.
Yes.
Okay. I need to reread the hand signals, evidently.
I did look it up before Nationals, and I think that's what it is. Happy to be corrected in the chat.
I see seeing it there. Maybe just clips the ankle on the way past. So Scott comes on as a replacement. And Scott is going to boost it deep. Here's Baker. Baker with the snag. He's outside the end zone. Only a step or two to go before they cross the goal line. A couple of players all flooding through. Eventually, Scott does the selfless thing. Plants comes back. Looks for Baker. He's free, and it's 6-3 to Finland. Flash back on the board.
Just absolutely shoving the disc into the ground with that spike there. I think that's the score that they were all waiting for. And some great calmness from Scott, especially. It's always tough when you catch the disc right on the end zone line, because your entire team is running towards you and you can see them screaming for the disc. So to dump it back and then get it back in, credit to them. And it's a really nice cut, just a little fake and then into the open side.
Yeah, probably it wasn't necessarily the cleanest catch from Baker, but he had cleaner catches and they just suddenly got the message across.
We've got a lot of UK viewers, I think, rooting for Flash in the chat.
Whether you are from the UK, whether you're from Finland, rooting on Team Finland, or whether you are just a neutral watching and enjoying the spectacle, thank you for watching Alti TV's coverage of the World Great Grandmasters Beach Ultimate Club Championships, as Finland, with a nice inside break there, finds Ristiniemi down the far side. Good option. Here's Sjaranta. Sjaranta to the end zone. That will be half-time. Manninen goes to the floor but secures the grab, and they will have a 7-3 half-time lead.
And what a point to take half. That was so fluid, so quick. I don't think the stall got above 3 on any of those throws. Just zip, zip, zip into the end zone. Really beautiful ultimate.
A very strong half there from Team Finland.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for Flash, it really, I thought, you know, at the start of the game, this was going to be tight trading all the way through. But they just couldn't quite kick on.
Yeah, maybe the Finns had a better pre-game preparation. Maybe a few too many Iknusa beers for Flash during the break. Or maybe this half switch is really going to galvanise Flash and fight it out. So
you do mirror the flip from the start of the game. So we're just seeing that final goal again, the backhand through that inside channel to the laying out Manninen. And unfortunately though for Flash, They are pulling to start this half. Might be please correct me, Finns, on the correct Finnish way of pronouncing the Finnish name for Finland.
Please teach us some Finnish.
No, genuinely, I am always keen to learn. It means a lot to get that sort of feedback, and it improves our broadcast both today and in future games as well. Here's an underneath cut as Finland starting the second half on offense, as we mentioned. Here's Arimo. He's been rock solid behind the disc for the Finns. They've been happy to use him every other pass on occasion, but now Taivalkoski, whose name we haven't called too much, he's popped that one a little bit up there. Arimo is equal to it, and Arimo with the pass into the end zone. Hey, Heisbacker's on the pitch. Heisbacker scores goals. It's what she does.
Yeah, she was so free. Just at no point was her defender really more than 2 meters close to her at any point during her time in the end zone. So yeah, hit her for the score. Why not?
Just can't keep up with those changes of direction. And this was a slightly dicey throw because the wind got underneath it. But with Hode out of position, the bid comes in from Louise Edwards, but it's a split second too late. And just I'm genuinely dead happy with that. Because I only found out today that that Iknos is the Sardinia. Well, this week that Iknos is the Sardinian name for Sardinia. I didn't realise that they didn't call it Sardinia normally in the old Sardinian language.
Just the Sardinian language. I mean, it is also very old.
Here's this one. It's a bit of a sky ball. It is tipped, and collecting the trash there is Ristiniemi. He's got a nice up line. Oh, had to really turn on a little bit of pace to bring it in, but it was secured by Sharanta. Dished off. There's the free pass to Manon, and they don't like it, though. I would have liked to see that pass go. It's never a bad idea to look up open passes, and that is why. Because Reuven Schreck with a phenomenal layout tee. And a little point to the camera as well.
Did you get that? Yes, we did.
Well, that's going to make the highlight reel, isn't it?
That was an absolutely incredible bid, just charging through.
This one sits out into space, and Baker gets the better of Sharanta in the air, skies the Finn there. And now going back to one win. Maybe this is the galvanising point that Flash needed. Schreck fakes the deep, and with the go into the back, he's going to sit the IR out to space. Son's trying to chase it down at the back of the end zone. Just about got a tip on it from Maninen, and Son's on the floor again. He's been in the wars a little bit this game. Why the hell not? So Schreck, who had that play, he's looking deep once more, the play to the far side. Oh, good Lord. If Baker would have got that, I would have absolutely flipped my lid.
Just the angle on it, unfortunately, made it very difficult to catch. And oh my God, what a collection.
Hello. It looks like Aki Vatari's come to play as well. This game has, it's all of a sudden, it's found an extra gear. Here's the deep, but it's not quite deep enough to get into the end zone. Mannanen will catch that comfortably in stride. He looks very nonplussed by the whole thing. Dishes it off to Sharanta.
Very casually, I might add.
And then just waits, making sure that he's got the eyes of the receiver. Baker looks a little bit gassed after that big bid earlier, and that will be another point for the Finns. The score is now 9-3.
Yeah, layout city that point. Some absolutely stellar bids, and though not all of them were successful in achieving their aim, looks absolutely fantastic on the stream. So we'll see just that goal again. I think there may have been a, well, there was the casual dish, and then I think either miscommunication or just managing to get on the wrong side of the defender and collect.
The Flash, they have something in the tank here. They're just not getting it with the consistency that they need. Jaguar catches the ball, trying to get the offense moving and in motion before the defense can set. But there's not really that connection downfield. And here comes the Jack. It's asking an awful lot of them downfield. The timing wasn't there. Arimo goes back. Here's Koivisto with a break towards the far sideline. Finds Taivalkoski.
Very slow fake.
Very deliberate. Lovely throw out of space from Heisbacker. Kusinen takes advantage of the post player. That's good. That's what got them in trouble earlier, is not taking those open passes. Even if they're not positive passes, it's never a good idea to look off open players. And it's also never a good idea to look off Heisbacker, because she just scores goals. She just scores goals, Ali.
She really does. And I think even if you try to force her deep, she's going to sell you under and then go deep anyway. Because, again, when you have that low centre of gravity, so much easier to make those changes of direction and just get so free from your player. So, again, credit to Heisbacker, which must be her fourth goal?
Fourth goal at least. I mean, she's so light on her feet that, you know, it means that even when you're getting those changes, those turns and those changes of direction, the defenders are just, it's taking them a bit more work to turn and plant. And that's the separation that you need. And, I mean, to be fair, I think even if she is well covered, they'll probably put it up. Such is the trust that they have in her.
Yeah, that's true. That's
and
true.
such is the almost dominance that she's shown in the end zone.
And she's so fast, she hasn't... I have heard it said that layouts are for slow people, which is definitely not the case because we've seen some stellar layouts from some very fast people in these games.
And we've also seen some stellar layouts from some not so fast people.
By their own admission, I might add.
Yes, and if you just stay at the same pace all the time.
There we go.
Easy. Here's Unwin bringing it in, but he's not really seeing anything he likes. Eventually the bid comes through. The cut to Baker was covered, but on a high still, had to put it up anyway. And Vasquio got the better of Baker. And Shrek's going to make amends with the D, and there's going to be perhaps a call on this play. It's Shrek engaged in a conversation with, I think that's Juhani Ristiniemi.
I think potentially a foul call on the push-off, or maybe it was the collision. But the... Whoa.
So I think there may have been a foul call, and in the end it got retracted. Or, yeah, just... There was a foul and it was retracted, so Shrek has the disc here for Flash. And what a bid that is from Unwin. Wow. The Unwinner takes it all. I will not apologise for that. And here's Unwin. He wants the hero-making pass. Shrek just didn't see it. It was too short for Son. Now they're working downfield. Here's Vasquio. It must be so frustrating when, you know, you make a layout like that and then you just can't find the next pass to move the disc along.
Goes with the territory, I suppose.
Here's Ristiniemi. But I love that Flash are still throwing themselves around despite the scoreline. Underneath is Vetari. Fakes it down the line now. Another handler takes off, plants, comes into the backfield. Nice break. Gets the disc a bit more central for Vasquio.
Excellent defense from Baker.
Really threatening that around, but maybe overcommits slightly. And that frees up the inside towards the far sideline. Now back in the middle of the pitch. Just taking their time here. Like to see that, you know, they can slow things down. Oh, I thought that maybe Son overcommitted there. There is space in towards the middle of the pitch. Here's Vasquio with the break around where it needs to be for Vitari. Looking at the end zone, there's a huge inside channel to work with, and Ristiniemi exploits that space expertly.
Fantastic patience from the Finns, just very calmly dumping, swinging, and that is really, that's what you teach, you know, and ultimate tactics have changed over the years, but some things remain very much the same.
And this is the thing that, especially when you've got a team that is trying to kind of generate and galvanise energy for a comeback, one of the best ways to prevent that, what a bid that is as well. Holy cow. One of the best ways to prevent that is to play that really, quote-unquote, boring style offense, take the open passes, fundamentals, reset it, because it's so deflating when you don't even have the opportunity to make the spectacular play, because it's just...
It seems that Flash's earlier points may just have been a flash in the pan for this game.
There we go.
Definitely didn't have a discussion about how to work that one in.
Nope, and you cannot prove otherwise. Here's Jagurta Hode. Hode pivots around, finds the backhand to Ian Scotland. Scotland with the put deep. Looking for Edwards, it's going to hang. It's going to hang. Can she bid? Oh, she did bid, but it was too far out. It could even be less than that if Team Finland can reach the 13-point cap before then. Lovely IO break, exploiting that space brilliantly. And oh, just the complete spanner from Jana Kussinen. Did not get those hands lined up over each other. And Jaguar just puts it right through the post box for Ian Scotland. I mean...
Catches? What's an uncatch? Drops.
I mean, one was a drop, the other one wasn't even a drop, because just somehow we didn't get hands on it. And those are frustrating because you feel like you're doing the right thing and then somehow it's... Oh, disc isn't there. And there's going to be a stoppage.
I think a foul call. Not sure if it's from Hode or...
He was clutching his face a little bit there, so maybe perhaps has tried to power pass, got a little bit of a shoulder to the face perhaps. This seems to be being checked in short order. Ty Volkowski goes around to Hastebacker. Oh, she's got beautiful throws as well. It's not like you have to, you know... There's my one for the week. Taking the reset. Again, with what we talked about, the good fundamental, sensible play from the Finns.
So I'm being told in the chat that the Finns are very used to playing with each other in tiring and windy conditions, or rather the conditions now are tiring because they often practice in the snow, which, as you can imagine, is not the best surface to play on.
Yeah, I mean, another scenario where having the pink disc would probably be very handy, and he looks frustrated with himself. That's maybe the first. Scott will bring it in. Looking for Scotland, good initiating cut there, gets the disc in the middle of the pitch. Finds Edwards on the far side. Edward fakes the dump to Jagger, doesn't like it. Scotland tries to find his way up line, gets the disc in a power position. Now there's a little bit of flow, there's a little bit of rhythm to this offense. Hode with the lead pass to Scott. Oh, when it works for Flash, it is lovely. They just haven't got that consistently enough. But it's nice for them to finally get a point on the board after a long break train from the Finns. That'll be 11-4.
And that's Flash at their best, just being able to get open under, weight their throws perfectly, and you know, when it's good, it's great for Flash. So really hoping we can see some more of that from the British side.
It was the timing was just so much better at that point. They, you know, the cuts were developing a bit earlier, so you're looking downfield, and it's not like, okay, I'm looking downfield. Now the cut begins to develop. They're looking downfield. You know, the plant, you know, the juke, the fakes already happened. You're beginning to get free, so you're keeping that time of possession low. Defenders stay on their heels, a bit out of place. And it worked beautifully. They just consistently timed the cuts, got the angles right to force it down the open side. And in the end, this is a lovely lead throw from Hode. For the goal, Hootie goes in the background for 5 minutes left. 11-4 the current score. So if we don't get if the Finns can't add to their advantage before that, we'll get a game to 12. But if they can, it will be a game to 13, which is the hard score cap this week. Here's the ball. It's arcing, it's blading, and it lands at the feet. Not fielded completely cleanly, but done without too much bother. Sun beginning to poke through the clouds a bit more now. Mr. Niemi, low, scooped in with the trailing edge. Dropping my mouth a little bit there, but he did it expertly, and then get it out on his hands. Delivery on a silver platter for Michael Sharanta. That's 12-4.
He blows a kiss to either the camera or to his teammates in appreciation of how pinpoint that throw was.
Honestly, when he went for the grab with the trailing edge, it was almost a convulsion. It was like, ooh, but and then, hey, if you can deliver throws like that, I think I'll let you off.
It almost looked like a self-mack. I mean, I know it wasn't, but it was just so casual the way he grabbed it and then passed it on.
So Flash try and get another furious 5 out there. Looks like I can see Unwin, Scott, Baker, Jigger, and Shrek for the Brits.
And here again, we'll see that beautifully weighted throw just soaring into the hands.
And there's not even a defender in the frame.
No, and then it does a look.
So the ball comes up from Orimo. A break here would finish the game. Unwin's waiting for it. It rolls a little bit, and then he swings it out to Shrek on the end zone line.
Baker's going.
Baker is going. Shrek's with it's the unorthodox IO backhand, really stepping across, and Baker can't get there in time.
That's a nice try from Baker. He's still absolutely gunning for it, putting his body on the line in just in case.
Hey, you never know. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win the proverbial lottery. Oh, Danny Baker, way to make amends.
Yes, Danny, what a bid.
See, we told you Flash would throw themselves around. And now they're looking for Shrek. Oh, nearly got there on the blade from Jigger, but just about enough of a hand in there from Orimo.
That would have been an absolutely heroic catch.
Nice slap of hands as well. Good to see again that the spirit is still high. Although they're trying to do a little bit of communication here, so they're trying to poach those places a little bit more, and the Finns are going to take a timeout. Well, it's probably wise if it is slightly underwhelming.
Yes, and both teams have one timeout each, which can be taken at any point, even during the soft cap.
So we haven't hit the soft cap yet, but obviously with Team Finland on 12 and a game to 13, you know, there will be a 13-point game. We've seen Flash use their timeout earlier in the game. Finland have wanted to use. You can't keep it for the next game anyway, so why the hell not use it here? And we're going to use this opportunity to take a timeout as well and show you a brief little commercial about what we do here at Ulti TV.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ultimate TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
and
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
So you can go to www.ulti.tv to find out more in depth about what we do. Alternatively, you can click the link in the YouTube description to go to our page.
Defence for what could be the last point in this game.
Yeah, they're poaching and they're allowing that swing. And underneath, Jiguer thought about the bid, but he was out of position. There's a player wide open deep. It doesn't come at the first time of asking. It does at the second. It's hanging and it's just behind. Tried to spin and pluck it out of the sky, but it's Koivisto who couldn't quite catch it. And now Jiguer, he's not even going to bring it to the front of the end zone line. He's going to take it in too quickly. I mean, that is what's the word I'm looking for? Interesting, I will call it. It's not quite extraordinary, unusual force. Lovely low break from Unwin. Finds Baker. I thought he was looking for the lead pass to Jiguer. You can see that Jiguer's running out of juice a little bit here. Maybe not a surprise after knee meniscus surgery 6 weeks ago. And they just maybe went up a bit early. And as he was on the way down, it allowed Arimo to make a spectacular bid.
A lot of hype for him in the chat as well.
I fully deserved, I think. Low release break finds Koivisto. And now Vasquez, there's another player taking off deep. Plants comes under and he gets the disc. It is Arimo. Lovely low release into the stride of the Finnish player, but there's no one making the continuation cut, so he turns, plants, pivots infield, really squares up to try and access that where all the space is. Eventually gets the blades to Arimo. Cut continues. Players perhaps a little bit out of position, trying to sag and clog those lanes. Now eventually they recover and the disc is in the hands of Vasquez. Got it to the open side and that will do it. What a performance from Team Finland as Koivisto catches the final score, 13-4, a dominant performance from the Finns.
Yeah, that certainly was putting on a show of how to do beach ultimate. Those connections were so strong. It really looked like players knew exactly what to expect from each other and how much to ask of each other. And I think that is exactly the kind of connections that you get after you play with a team for 30 years.
30 years plus even.
Yeah.
Ulti.tv